Hello, everyone. It is great to meet you again. Today, we are looking at an important place across the world, a place that I have really never learned about explicitly in our school, but it it's full of history, full of significance, and so very excited to be able to share it with you. Today, we are going to Tajikistan. Tajikistan is a very special country, lots of archaeology, culture, empires, and architectural movements all across. It is a country in Central Asia, and very, very happy to be able to share this with you. Tajikistan is a country, first of all, with beautiful landscapes. I mean, all these mountains, also beautiful architecture as well. Lots of historical influences. Um, and yeah, very beautiful place. So today I'm gonna be looking at several places here. As you see, not a lot of this is mapped because it is a mountain terrain, but parts of it we can still see. So okay, today the first place we're gonna be looking at is actually the Penjikent. So let's dive right in. Penjikent. Now we'll actually do Penjikent here as well so that we can see this. Penjikent is a city that looks like thus, and this dates back to 5th century CE, so all the way back. And Penjikent is one of the it was once one of the most flourishing Sogdian city on all of the eastern fringe of the Persian Empire, and however, like Pompeii, much like it was suddenly abandoned around 722 CE when the Arab conquerors came through Central Asia. And so it still has lots of buildings, arts, and inscriptions that were preserved, but much of it has become ruined during this forced abandonment. The excavation actually began pretty recently, only in the early 20th century, and there's remarkable complete pictures of life in pre-Islamic parts of the world, and especially this metropolis. So yeah, very important here. We can see some murals here, and yeah, as you see, it's really full. Like it provides so much historical detail, cultural understanding of what life was like in here. Shows what kind of attire, what kind of social status these people had. Also, the Chenjikent was its houses, as we can kind of look at it from here, were actually multi-roomed, and a lot of them were 2 stories. And so this has a really rare complexity for its time, especially compared to other civilizations that existed. And it even sometimes had painted interiors, which is very, very impressive. The streets were also laid out in a grid pattern. There were designated areas for markets, temples, and elite residences. I don't know if they have a map. I believe this is kind of the way it was before it was excavated. No, yeah, now it's been reinstalled, restored, and we can kind of conjecture that it must have looked like this. And yeah, this city has both lots of different religious idea. There's actually a Zoroastrian fire temple here that's very famous. And this place is significant for its religious understanding. This was used as a shrine at the time for regional deities, and also suggesting something like a religious syncretism that is actually a merging of diverse religious cultures. And so because it had multiple religious and cultural impacts on it, from the Persian to, as we will see, I believe it was the Arabs that, as we saw, came over, Turkic, Indian spheres of influence, and later even places like Russia. And so various ideas here as well. Also had Turkish influences, and there are multiple deities that appear from that. We also get a unique glimpse into the Sogdian language if we look at the murals very carefully. this actually formed the Aramaic script, but it became its own grammar and poetry. And at the time here, and so Zoroastrianism was dominant, but there were also local versions of Buddhism and folk beliefs that we can see through household shrines. So very complicated. The Arabs actually forced the region into conquer in the 8th century, and so lots of Islamic influences. The city really offers an insight to us currently of how Islam spread not just through economic ways, but also through social reconstructions and cultural reconstructions. And this was actually excavated by Soviet archaeologists in the 20th century. And yeah, and there was once a museum in St. Petersburg and Dushanbe that that I believe still stands today, that has a lot of the removed parts of this. And there are also on-site museums and various ruins that draw in historians and various tourists as well. They're enthusiastic about the Silk Roads as well. Oh, and if I show you an image of this, yeah, so if the Silk Road kind of went along this, and Penjikent was kind of in the center of it, so it was in trade-wise a very important part of the world as well. Okay, let's go to another place. We're actually going even before we're going to the Hisor Fortress. And this Hisor Fortress it is guessed that it was built by Achamind around 6th century BCE, but it has been rebuilt many times, so it is hard to determine the exact architect at the moment. This is one of the key passes into Central Asia, and it was guarded very heavily through multiple empires. And this sat through the convergence of various Persian, Turkish, and later Islamic and Indian influences as well. A lot of it controlled the trade, military, and religious flows of all these different cultures. And just look at these architecture. These kind of give you a Grecian impression, but also Islamic, and as we see, various Persian influences as well, and just strikingly beautiful, right? Its own traditional and cultural ideas here as well. And inside there is a double layered fortress walls that was actually once thick enough to resist cannon fire. Like, isn't that just absolutely wild that this was actually able to resist cannons, like these stones? And that's the complexity and architectural genius to which they were able to aspire to all the way back then. And this massive archway, I believe this might not be the exact archway. Let's look into this. Yeah, this archway, this huge one, was actually reconstructed pretty recently in the 16th to 17th century style, and lots of mosques here as well, and various bathhouses, even royal court complexes that are found in these architecture. And there is a nearby village that was actually reconstructed in the 18th century, lots of ethnographics as well. So yeah, in terms of timeline, this place, just this fortress, went to, first of all, the Achaemenid Empire and the Greco-Bactrian influence, and then the Saminid control, and then the Mongols, and then the Tirmids, and the Emirate of Bukhara, and then Tourists, and then the Russia, and then the Soviets. And then this fortress itself was adapted and repurposed multiple times, sometimes spiritual, sometimes for military purposes. And really recently, the Soviets actually, Mysore was turned into the People's Resistance symbol, and it was restored and curated in a way that really reflected the socialist way of storytelling and nationalism. And so deep history, lots of layers as well. Very important place, I think, in the culture as well. Okay, let's look at the last place. We're going back to almost 500 BCE, and we're actually looking at the Istarvashan. And the Istarvashan is a city in the Sugd province in Tajikistan, and this was actually founded by Cyrus the Great, and this is located in northern Tajikistan. It is a living city that was built on top of 2,500 years of history. And so this is one of the most, in terms of the historical ideas, during the Parisian Achaemenid Empire, it was one of the easternmost cities. It served as a military and cultural bridge between Persia and the steppe. But excavations have actually revealed that there were early fortifications, fire temples, and different coins and inscriptions as well, pointing to really complex cultural society as well. And this became a stronghold of Islamic scholarship after the Arab conquest in the medieval ages. It hosted various mosques dating from the 9th to 15th century, and also it is known for its traditional craftsmanship with carving work, metalwork, and other calligraphy. And if we look, I am not sure if I can type this out again. Istarvashan. And please feel free to correct me on any pronunciation that I get wrong. I'm very, very sorry if I do. And this is various places in here are also famous. There is a citadel hill here that is called a Magtepe. And this place was once in one of the strongest places in the Surigan and later Persian royal residence, but now it lays a lot in ruins. It also has underground passages, tunnel systems, and various remnants of fire altars that were used for religious purposes. At the moment, it is still a functioning city with living historical neighborhoods, artisans that work with these techniques passed down for 1,000 years, and lots of active restoration campaigns as well. And yeah, Istarvashan, I think, is often overlooked, but it is possibly, arguably, one of the most significant and most layered city in the entire world. So very significant for us to understand. Yeah, thank you so much for joining me, guys. I must apologize because I do not know myself a lot about Tajikistan, and so I'm afraid that my research into it was quite surface level, wasn't able to tell you all the historical backgrounds from which it occurred, and I'm very, very sorry for that. If you guys are able to understand and share with us down in the comment section, I'd be more than grateful. Thank you so much for joining me, guys. Stay curious and always have fun learning. Thank you, and bye.